Former Mets pitching prospect Matt Pobereyko has died from a heart attack. He was just 31 years old. And then we have a 24-year-old Air Albania crew cabin member who died after fainting as her plane landed in Standsted. Cause of death? Sudden adult death syndrome, otherwise known as sudden arrhythmic death syndrome. That is the subject of today's episode. And so, from Trial Site News, I am Adrian, and our episode is starting right now. So, we here at Trial Site News on YouTube have been chronicling the string of sudden cardiac arrests that have been piling up. This includes the more high-profile cases of the young and the athletic. Yesterday, the news broke that Matt Pobereyko, who pitched in the Mets system in 2017 and 2018, died over the weekend at just 31 years old from a heart attack. The story first broke by Hector Gomez, who wrote that former Mets minor league pitcher Matt Pobereyko had passed away at the age of 31 due to a heart attack. He had pitched in the Mexican League and Dominican Winter League this offseason. Now, shortly after this announcement, several of his former teams confirmed his death and wrote public messages of condolences. St. Paul Saints wrote, "It is with a heavy heart that we learned of the passing of a former Saints pitcher, Matt Pobereyko. He was an incredible teammate and a fierce competitor, but an even nicer person. He will be missed by all that knew him. We send our love to his family and friends." And then we have the Pensacola Blue Wahoos, who wrote that the Blue Wahoos joined the baseball community in mourning the passing of Matt. A member of our 2021 team, Matt was beloved on and off the field. Our prayers and love are with his family, friends, and teammates. And finally, the Sioux City Explorers wrote, "We mourn the loss of Matt Pobereyko, a great baseball player and an even better person. Rest in peace, Pobo." Their manager, Steve Montgomery, also expressed his public condolences, saying, "Words cannot express the grief and sorrow we feel today for Matt's family, friends, teammates, and his fans. He truly loved being an explorer and being a part of this community. He was as fierce of a friend as he was as a competitor. We will miss him as a baseball player, but even more so as a friend." And so another athlete passes away by cardiac arrest. Meanwhile, a story that is only just now starting to gain attention in the media involves a 24-year-old Greta Dyrmishi. She worked for Air Albania as a member of staff. Back on December 21st of 2022, Greta, according to reports, was traveling with the Air Albania line on the itinerary from Tirana to London. Just after the plane had landed at Standsted Airport, she suddenly fainted, falling to the ground. First aid and CPR was given, and she was attended to by paramedics, but she could not be revived and passed away. According to an article by The Sun on the story, the East of England Ambulance Service Trust said 2 ambulances, a hazardous area response team vehicle, an ambulance officer vehicle, and Essex and Hertz Air Ambulance responded to reports of a woman being seriously ill. Michelle Brown, area coroner for Essex, spoke about Greta's death. She said that this 24-year-old female was cabin crew on a flight from Albania and was on the tarmac when she appeared to faint and was given basic first aid. 10 minutes later, there was no pulse, and CPR commenced. Paramedics treated her and confirmed she had passed away. And she went on to say that a post-mortem found her cause of death to be sudden adult death syndrome. At the time of the incident, she was at the front by the doors on a plane at Standsted Airport. This is suitable for a documentary inquest in due course. Now, Air Albania also issued a statement following Greta's death, saying on December 21st, after disembarking the passengers from our flight to London, one of our cabin crew, Greta Dyrmishi, had a heart attack. Even after all medical assistance was provided immediately, we still lost her. She was taken to the hospital in London, and procedures are being followed. From the first moments, Air Albania contacted her family, and we continued to be close to them in these difficult moments. In respect to Greta and her family, we decided to share the news with the public at the appropriate time. We will always remember Greta as a passionate professional, an excellent co-worker, and a great friend to all of us. May God mercy her and give peace to the family. Air Albania will continue to be with her family. A tragic final end for Greta. And finally for today's episodes, for those who may have missed her story, 7 weeks ago, a Titans fan, Alexis Prue, suffered cardiac arrest after a Jaguars game. She had just returned to their hotel when her husband said she suddenly told him that "I can't breathe," before collapsing. First responders told Andrew, her husband, that her heart had stopped for 3 minutes before they managed to resuscitate her. And thankfully we now have some positive updates to this story. According to the latest reports, she is up and talking. Andrew Prue tweeted this wonderful news, saying, "7 weeks ago, Alexis and I encountered the scariest day of our lives. Today, thanks to the grace of God, we are going to be able to continue life together, continue creating memories, and most importantly, continue to raise our little girl together." Andrew told the public that she broke through a couple of words on Thursday, and those words were, "Where is India?" That's her daughter's name. Now, Andrew said he hopes his wife can start rehab soon, and that the doctors are expecting a full recovery. Andrew had spent 17 days in the hospital at his wife's side when she first fell gravely ill, but now is temporarily moved to Jacksonville with their 1-year-old daughter, while his wife Alexis recovers. Now, interestingly, the doctors have yet to tell him what his wife's diagnosis is, but they have told him that she had Lance-Adams syndrome, which is caused by going into cardiac arrest and being deprived of oxygen in the brain. And so here we are, more sudden cardiac arrests being reported on. In fact, there were too many to fit into today's episode. But for those of you who might be concerned about what is causing all of these sudden cardiac arrests, fear not. FactCheck.org has got your back. In fact, they have been working overtime to tell everyone that those who speculate that these kind of events are vaccine-related are baseless. For example, let's take a look at the Damar Hamlin incident. Damar Hamlin, 24 years old, collapsed during a nationally televised Monday Night Football game back in early January, moments after completing a tackle. He initially stood up after the play, and then to the horror of those around him, suddenly fell over. The next morning, the Buffalo Bills team reported that he had suffered cardiac arrest. Thankfully, Damar survived the incident and seems to be recovering well. Now, FactCheck.org wrote about the fallout of this incident, saying this: "While the cause of Hamlin's cardiac arrest is not yet known, some physicians say the most likely cause is an arrhythmia that occurred as a result of the blow to his chest, known as commotio cordis. It's kind of like a perfect storm of events," Neil Chotsky, a sports cardiologist at the University of Pennsylvania, told FactCheck.org. "When a blow to the chest wall happens at the right point during the cardiac cycle or during a heartbeat, it can then trigger an irregular and life-threatening heart rhythm, which causes an individual to arrest." Yet online, people have baselessly speculated, some within minutes of the collapse, that Hamlin's condition is a result of COVID-19 vaccination. FactCheck.org is not aware of Hamlin's vaccination status, but as of January 13th, 2022, nearly 95% of NFL players were vaccinated. Now, in the article, they go on to talk about Dr. Peter McCullough, a cardiologist whom they claim is known for spreading misinformation about the COVID-19 vaccines. They say that he suggestively said that if Hamlin, quote, indeed took one of the COVID-19 vaccines, then subclinical vaccine-induced myocarditis must be considered in the differential diagnosis. Myocarditis is inflammation of the heart muscle. Now, it's amazing, isn't it? Both considered rare events, commotio cordis and myocarditis-related cardiac arrests from the COVID-19 vaccines, and yet here we see FactCheck.org giving a friendly pass to the commotio cordis theory on the cause of the sudden cardiac arrest. You don't hear the word baseless or misinformation when discussing these kinds of theories. But when we have these, as FactCheck.org likes to consider them, bad actors like Peter McCullough, who dare to posit a theory that it might be vaccine-related myocarditis, well, golly gosh gee, it's got to be baseless and or misinformation. Curious, isn't it? The effort is on to continue to shut up speculation if it veers too close to a theory that isn't part of the narrative. This is unhelpful at best, and frankly, in this man's humble opinion, only serves to fuel more speculation. This is especially true when the mantra of "it could be anything except mRNA related" is all you seem to hear from major news outlets and most politicians. Now, time, of course, will tell where all of this goes. But naturally, we'll be keeping you posted as developments continue to come in. And that, my friends, will bring our episode to a close once more. For more content like this, be sure to check back to this channel daily, Monday through Friday. Or if you want written articles every day, 7 days a week, check us out at trialsitenews.com. And as ever, always, my friends, thank you so much for joining me on the program today. From Trial Site News, I am Adrian, and I will see you all next time.